What's going on, everyone? Scott here. Welcome back to the channel. Michigan State basketball gets the 83-75 win at home against Samford. A game that, much like the Bowling Green game on Saturday, was not going Michigan State's way for about really first 12-13 minutes here. But Michigan State was able to rely on, similar to like they did in the Bowling Green game, rely on their defense to get back in this game and eventually flip the game on its head and come away with a big time win in a game in which they were definitely tested with a different type of style than they've seen so far this year. We're going to get into the game, but first, if you could just hit that like and subscribe button down there. More Michigan State basketball content on the channel. Maui Invitational coming up next week. We'll have that covered completely here on the channel, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a video. So in the first half, similar to, as we said, Bowling Green, Samford got up with about 10 minutes left in the first half, was up 13. From there, Michigan State was able to cut into that deficit to close the half and ended up going into halftime actually up 10. A complete flip of the game there, and then second half was able to kind of keep it at 10 for a majority, but they controlled most of the second half, but Samford just wouldn't keep going away. It would be at 10, and then they'd make a bucket, they'd get a stop, it's down to 6, down to 7, then come back. It got up to 11, 13 for a couple times there for Michigan State in the second half. Got a little sketchy there at the end. They were making some shots. Michigan State was really good. I think they were a perfect 16 for 16 going into the last, minute, a couple seconds there, but then they ended up missing 3 of their last 4 free throws. To make the score a little bit more sketchy, but this is about how it felt most of the game at, give or take those 3 missed free throws at the end. Probably should have been about a 10-point win. 8 to 10-point win is about where it sat all game. So about the score is pretty indicative of how the game went. Now, listen, they had some guys that provided some problems. That Jaden Brownlee, 19 points, 9 rebounds, was a force in the paint. 14 points from Josh Holloway. He was being a pest on defense as well. 12 points from Lucas Walls. Hey, look, that's a very well-coached team, and they were letting that thing fly. 9 for 26 from 3. If they even hit 2 or 3 more of those, this thing probably looks a little differently. For Michigan State, though, you have to give it up for Jaden Akins. 25 points, 3 rebounds, no assists, but had a steal. But listen, he was making some tough baskets and was getting buckets when Michigan State needed them most. He did foul out. If he was in the game, maybe the ending looked a little bit differently and they don't, get a few opportunities that they had. But overall, he fouled out with like a minute and a half to go. So it wasn't too much there. But overall, besides, I thought he was crashing the glass well. A lot of them he just didn't record the rebound on. He was getting a lot of tips to, Zapala, Kohler, or whoever else was down there. But he was crashing the glass well. The 3 just doesn't show up. I don't think that number is indicative for what he really did on the glass in this game. 3 for 7 from 3. And he hit a couple big ones. A lot of that was in the second half. I'm pretty sure 2 of those 3 were in the second half. Don't quote me on that. But it was good to see some shots finally going down from him. Frankie Fiddler, I thought, had some nice moments. Still a work in progress. Only 1 rebound. Only 2 assists. 7 for 8 from the free throw line. So once again, a vast majority of his points, 7 of his 12, coming from the free throw line. Did hit a 3 though. So if Frankie can start hitting some 3s, and it was a spot up 3 as well. I think he might have took 1 dribble to just get himself set because I think he had someone closing out on him. But if that can start falling, then I think that opens up some other stuff. Still going to have to work on crashing the glass more, coming up with more rebounds. And same thing kind of with Jaden. He was crashing the glass too, and he was getting a lot of tips, just wasn't securing the ball. Simone Zapala, first 10-point game in a Spartan uniform. 4 for 6 from the field, 6 rebounds. He was solid down there. Had some nice moves where he caught the ball in the post, was able to make a nice move, up and under move, and such, and get the score down there. Jackson Kohler, 6 rebounds, 4 points. Didn't feel a real impact, really, these last 2 games, kind of. Jeremy Fears only played 13 minutes. I did hear, listening to the post-game Spartan Media Network show after the game, they thought that he might have got a little banged up when he did take a tough fall in this game. So they thought that he might have been a little banged up. The reason for only playing 13 minutes, I attributed to, I thought I know was watching, he had 3 turnovers in this game, but 2 of them came within the first like minute and a half. I remember it was their first offensive possession, and he kind of threw the ball up. I think it was Frankie down there, and it just kind of sailed over him. I was watching him. He looked over at Izzo, and Izzo was like, "That's one." And then I think someone else had a turnover from the starting lineup there within that first minute or so, and then Jeremy had another turnover as well, and then Izzo right down the bench to Trey. But funneling into Trey, man. Trey, 30 minutes, most minutes on the team, could not buy a basket anywhere. 1 for 9 from the field, 1 for 9 from 3. So would like to see him drive a little more there. Definitely, especially, I mean, the threes were wide open. Just could not, story of the season, could not buy one at all. But 2 for 2 from the free throw line, 5 points overall, 9 assists, and 6 steals. 6 steals, and the other guy, Jace Richardson, who I think was the second best guard in this game, next to Trey, 12 points, 1 block, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, and 4 steals. Between the two of them, 4 and 6 steals, it felt like they each had 8 to 10. I mean, that's what they were stealing it seemed like, especially in that second half. They were really clamping down on defense and creating a lot of chaos on the offensive side for Samford. Xavier Booker, again, only 9 minutes. 3 for 4 from the field, though. 1 for 1 from 3. 7 points overall. And honestly, the 1 rebound, yes, that stuff is still a work in progress. The rebounding, some of the defense. But he provided a spark when Michigan State needed. He came in when they were down that 10, 12, like in that area, about down double digits. He came in, he hit a 3, and then he also was able to hit a 2-point basket as well. And then later in the game, too, I think this was in the second half, but he got the ball on. Samford, you got to give them credit. They were playing a kind of weird, it was like a 1-2-2 morphing into like a 3-2 when it got below the 3-point line. They were playing some solid defense, but one of the times for, I think it was his 6th and 7th point, he got the ball on a swing up at the top of the key towards the wing, and he was able to put the ball on the floor, get to the basket, and hit a driving layup, which we've seen him do at times, and that's the thing. It can't be all threes. Only one of his shots tonight was from 3. He did make it. Then he had 3 other shots as well for the total of 4 shots. And I think that's the next evolution of Xavier for the offensive end. Not shooting so many threes. We've seen him have the ability to put the ball on the deck, get to the lane, get to the basket. If he can do that, even start drawing some fouls and, float around that paint a little more too, not just floating around the 3-point line and, getting 4 or 5 shots up in a game and 4 of them being threes. I think that's the next step on the offensive side. The rebounding, still a work in progress. Defense, still a work in progress. Cohen Carr, 4 points, 2 for 4 from the field, but unemphatic. 4 points and had a steal in this game as well as a block. So Cohen, just another solid piece off the bench. Carson Cooper, 2 points, 5 rebounds. Thought he did his job. We saw some Kurtang towards the end. They were throwing him in for, free throw purposes to break the press, especially with Jaden having fouled out at the end there. But overall, 20 for 23 from the line, and the problem was those 3 misses came in your last 4 shots at the end of the game. But free throw shooting was solid. 3-point shooting, you made more, 7 for 24. I thought that was slightly improved. You're still missing wide open ones. So that'll be the key going forward, getting that, cleaned up and start hitting some shots. Hopefully, I know everyone talks about it, but going to a friendly gym in Maui with soft rims, everyone talks about. So hopefully that can help them see some shots go in. 13 steals, though, absolutely incredible. 14 turnovers, got to get that number back down to 8 to 10, somewhere in that range. But overall, thought it was a solid performance. And, similar to the Bowling Green game, I don't think this was Michigan State playing bad. I think this was a credit to Samford. Very well coached, had a lot of guys that made plays for them and a tough style to play against. And, I think Izzo said it on the Spark Media Network post-game show as well. He's like, guys, we're scoring 83 points a game. Or, we're scoring in the 80s for some of these games, and we're going 7 for 24, or even the first couple games, shoot 20% over the first 4 or 5 games of the season from 3. Like, if you bump that 20% up to 34%, you're getting in the hundreds close to pretty much every game here. So, there's a lot to like, and I'm liking this team a lot, how it's forming up once these guys start hitting shots. Jaden Akins, this is now 2 straight consistent games. Now we have to keep this up. Keeping it up every game, making an impact on this game, on the game for the team, I think is what consistently looks like for Jaden. Not asking him to go outscore 23, 25 points a game like we've seen from him, but got to be in the mid-teens scoring. But if you're not scoring those 20 points a game, you also need to add the 6-7 rebounds, the 4 or 5 assists, the couple blocks or a couple steals here. I think that's the thing looking forward here. Also, Jace Richardson, he did go down kind of at the end of the game and limped over to the bench. Izzo said after the game he thought it was a sprained ankle, could be out a couple days. Hopefully that's all it is, and we'll be able to be back in the mix for Maui, because he is a key cog to this team and what this team can be. But overall, a solid game from Michigan State, and a game in which you were tested again. So anyway, that'll do it for this one. We'll be back. Like I said, they will be in Maui next week. First game is on Monday against Colorado. Looking at Bart Torvik right now, currently about 7-point favorites, 72-65. We'll be back to break down that game and the field, who they could possibly face on Tuesday and Wednesday as well. But anyway, that'll do it for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.